Well, I think it's a total disgrace. That man was pushed out of the royal family. He didn't leave on his own accord. He had to leave.
I thought he said, I may have got this wrong. I mean, I'm trying to go back here, but he didn't sort of end up taken out of the country in a laundry basket and suddenly appear in California. They made a choice, didn't they?
He was married to her. She lived over there.
I thought it was his choice.
He went with his... No, it wasn't his choice.
Okay.
I read the book, The Spare. Have you read it, Jeremy?
Yeah, no. Do you know, I've got it on Audible and I haven't read it yet. I've read all the extracts.
It's a wonderful book.
I know, I gather he hasn't read it either.
It's the most upsetting book I've ever read.
Yeah.
For Charles to go into the delivery room when she's just given birth to Harry and turn round to her and say, oh, I've got my spare. I've done my job. What a thing to say.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have been
he
conscious.
should have... But it was there. His mother told him.
Yeah. Well, she shouldn't have done it.
Why?
Why not?
Well,
why not?
It's hurtful. It's hurtful.
It's disgusting.
Well, it's a terrible comment to say, but I mean, kings make silly jokes.
If I had a boy and I had a girl, if I had turned around and said,
I know.
I had my daughter and I wanted a boy.
I know.
Said, oh, thank God, I've got a boy.
It's a dreadful comment. Yeah, but then...
And there was more.
Yeah, but we're not king and queen, Janine. I mean, these guys make different kinds of jokes.
He wasn't even allowed to go on one of the royal jets to go to his grandmother's funeral, who he was very close to.
To the Queen's funeral, you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if he was
very close to the Queen.
Was he close to her? Because he
yes, he was.
Well, he missed the last Christmas with her.
Well, I'm not surprised at you, the way he was treated. If my family treated me like that, I wouldn't want to go there with my family.
Maybe we can...
And then there's this thing...
Yeah, I just don't know. Maybe we call it...
The baby.
Maybe it's a 50-50 thing where they treat him badly, he responds. We can't really know.
Oh, no,
but I hear what you're saying, Janine.
Oh, no.
Yasmin, you say we do. He was thrown out.
On Jeremy Vine, the caller was Janine. And when I tell you she didn't come to play, she came with fire, with facts, and with feeling. She didn't need to shout. She didn't need to argue. She didn't even try to outtalk anyone. Janine simply told the truth with clarity and calm. It's a disgrace how Prince Harry has been treated. Yes, we have all been waiting for someone to say it. That made it even more powerful. Everyone in that studio, and everyone watching at home, had to sit in it. Because she wasn't just challenging a media narrative. She wasn't just defending Harry for sport. She was calling out a system that has failed him since birth. A monarchy that treats people as placeholders. A family that has mastered silence but forgotten how to love. A father who should have known better. And a brother who should have done better. Now let's take a moment with that quote, the one that knocked the wind out of everyone who heard it. Janine referenced Prince Harry's memoir, Spare, where he recalled the moment of his birth. His father, now King Charles, stood in that hospital room, and instead of being overcome with joy or emotion, uttered this chilling line, "Wonderful. Now you've given me an heir and a spare. My work is done. Just let that sit with you for a second." Not "he's beautiful," not "thank you, Diana," not even a tired dad joke. No, Charles reduced his second son to a title, a task completed. From day one, Harry was not a beloved baby. He was a box ticked. The monarchy had its spare tire in case the golden carriage ever crashed. That's not parenting. That's protocol. And the sadness in that isn't just in the coldness of Charles's words. It's in how deeply those words rooted themselves in Harry's identity. Spare is more than a title. It's a wound wrapped in history, duty, and honestly, centuries of dynastic coldness. Because Harry grew up with a silent message humming in the background. You're not the star of this show. You're the understudy. You're plan B. You're the backup. And let's be honest, what child, what human being can thrive under that? When Janine brought that quote up on national television, she did what the royal family has spent years avoiding. She made it personal. She reminded us that this isn't just about press releases or palace intrigue. This is about a man, a son, a little boy who was always looking for love in a house made of ice, where smiles were for the cameras, not for comfort, where discipline came easier than hugs, where Harry was never just Harry, he was always the spare. And what kind of father says something like that? Charles has spent years cultivating an image of the contemplative king-in-waiting, the environmentalist monarch, the man of letters. But those layers peel away when you look at how he treated his own son. It's not just what he said, it's what he allowed. Because even if Charles didn't see Harry as an equal to William, he had the power to protect him, and he didn't. Charles watched as the media built Meghan up only to tear her down, watched as Harry's every move was weaponized, watched as his son pleaded for help, for safety, for clarity. And the palace, the courtiers, the king, they chose silence. Not once did Charles issue a public statement shutting down the racist and misogynistic attacks against Harry and Meghan. Not once did he draw a line. Not once did he say, "This is my son, and I will not let you destroy him." And William? Let's get into it. William has always been the heir, the one destined to wear the crown, the one the institution poured every ounce of its resources into shaping, and there's no doubt he's been through his own pain. But here's the thing. Pain doesn't excuse cruelty. William grew up alongside Harry. He saw the differences in how they were treated. He heard the jokes. He heard the comparisons. He saw how Harry was labeled the wild one, the rebel, the problem, when often he was just a boy trying to find his voice in a family that didn't want him to speak. And still, William stood by. More than that, he joined in. In Spare, Harry describes a chilling moment, one of many, when William called Meghan difficult, rude, abrasive. That wasn't just sibling tension. That was William aligning himself with the courtiers. That was William choosing the institution over his own brother. And it escalated. From icy conversations to physical altercations, from passive-aggressive press briefings to outright betrayal. Because make no mistake, the smear campaign against Meghan didn't happen in a vacuum. It came from within. And William was not just a passive observer. He was active in briefing against his own brother and sister-in-law. Why? Well, because Meghan represented change. She challenged the firm with her charisma, her candor, her compassion. And Harry, he followed her lead. He didn't try to dethrone William. He wasn't trying to hijack the monarchy. He just wanted to breathe. He wanted to build a life that wasn't dictated by centuries-old rules and PR manipulation. And for that, he was punished. The palace stripped him of his military titles. They cut his security. They took his home. And then they spun it all to make it look like he'd walked away from everything out of pride. But the truth? Harry left because staying meant destroying himself. Because staying would have cost him Meghan, would have cost him Archie, would have cost him peace. And you know, anyone who's had to walk away from toxic family dynamics knows that isn't selfish. That's survival. And then came the reconciliation headlines. The cost of conformity, honestly, is often invisible, until it's not. For some, it means sacrificing your voice, your values, or even your happiness, just to keep the peace. But when the price becomes your well-being, stepping away isn't just brave, it's necessary. Oh, the headlines. Charles desperate to reunite, William reaching out. But where are the actions? Where's the accountability? Where's the visit that doesn't come with paparazzi and PR managers? Because, honestly, true reconciliation happens in private. It happens with phone calls, with letters, with effort, not with exclusives to the Daily Mail. If Charles really wanted to see his son, he'd go to Montecito. No fanfare, no press. If William wanted peace, he'd stop the briefing and start the listening. But you know, that hasn't happened. What we've gotten instead are stage-managed moments, brief encounters after coronations, whispers of calls after diagnoses. But love doesn't operate on a media schedule. Family doesn't heal through headlines. And if the olive branch only appears when it benefits the crown, is it even real? Let's remember, this isn't just about personality clashes or family disagreements. This is about a system, a machine, a firm. And Meghan broke that machine simply by existing, by being herself. And honestly, they've never forgiven her for it. They saw a woman who was intelligent, empathetic, and media savvy, and they panicked. Because the monarchy knows how to handle scandal, but it does not know how to handle truth. Harry was never supposed to challenge the system. He was supposed to be the backup, quiet, grateful, invisible. But when he found love, found fatherhood, found freedom, he found something more powerful than a crown. He found his voice. And let's talk about that moment, the moment in Spare when Harry revealed that William physically attacked him. That wasn't just about a fight. It was a symbol, a metaphor for years of pent-up resentment, of unequal treatment, of broken bonds. Harry wasn't just being pushed in that kitchen. He was being pushed out of the family, out of the narrative, out of the history. And through it all, Charles stayed silent. Silent when his son's wife was suicidal. Silent when racist attacks flooded headlines. Silent when his grandchildren were denied protection. That's not neutrality. That's neglect. That's abdication of duty, not royal duty, but human duty. They didn't protect Diana, and they didn't protect Harry. They wrapped the same cruelty in different packaging. New faces, new rules, same outcome. But Harry? Harry said no more. And that's what makes him dangerous to the monarchy, because he exposed its rot, not with scandal but with sincerity. And that brings us back to Janine. She wasn't just a caller. She was a mirror, reflecting back the truths the royals refused to confront. She said it plain. It's a disgrace how Harry has been treated. And in that moment, you could really feel the shift, the discomfort, the truth settling like dust in a studio that honestly thrives on surface-level debates. Because this is about more than just one prince. It's about what we expect from families, from fathers, from brothers. It's about who gets to speak and who's told to suffer in silence. It's about the cost of conformity, the price of peace, the limits of loyalty. And Harry? He reached his limit. He chose love over legacy, truth over tradition. And because of that, he became something the monarchy couldn't control. A man in full. So when people say, why can't he just move on? Ask them this. Would you? Would you forget years of pain just to fit back into a system that never protected you? Would you sacrifice your voice so someone else could sleep easier? Harry didn't move away from his family. He moved toward his future. And in doing so, he gave us a roadmap of what healing looks like, of what courage costs, of what it means to break cycles. So thank you, Janine, for speaking when so many remain silent, for seeing the humanity when others see headlines, for reminding us that Harry is not just a prince, he's a person, and he deserves peace. And as long as the monarchy keeps pretending otherwise, we'll keep telling the truth, loudly, clearly, unapologetically, because this story isn't over, and we're not stopping.